Hello, everyone. Welcome out to the Cars, Bars, and Guitars podcast episode number 42. I'm AJ.
And I'm Steve, and I thought I told you how to do this, damn it.
The Bars and Guitars podcast, because the late Mr. Ric Ocasek has passed away, and we have topics about him. But first, Steve, what are we brought to you today by?
Year's engagement and no wedding plans.
To the day?
No, it's going to be between this and the next one.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so if anything, it's spurred on the job hunt, and that's been fruitless as well. So, yeah, still flat on finances, flat on time, and we don't know what we're doing, just who we're doing.
Hey, well, I'm married for 6 years, and I still don't know what I'm doing. Steve, what are we drinking today?
Oak Spire by New Belgium.
A collaboration with Knob Creek. 9%.
There it is.
There it is. Tink.
Good.
That's a really good one.
It's a Boilermaker, huh?
It is. It's like when you get those or when you get the pre-mixed liquor drinks from the ABC store. It's like a White Russian in a bottle that already has the liquor in it, but except this one's good. Steve, you brought.
Are you saying the dude would not abide?
Not that one. You brought goodies.
Yes.
Open the goodies.
All right. So, following my trip to Vegas 2 months ago, I finally found a thing that I had bought for AJ's souvenir titled, Somebody Went to Vegas and Brought Me Back a Little Pot. Therefore, it is a tiny flower pot in a bag.
Which is awesome.
And even earlier, I had picked up off of eBay a tiny Honda S2000 in yellow rather than silver, and a tiny Pontiac Vibe in black rather than navy blue, and proceeded to lose them for a couple of months since I've been really good at that lately. But hey, they're back, and they're here to add to the collection.
Yes.
Well, we'd rather get one of those shelf fronts to be able to peg it up.
We can do that. I think I might have some extra pegboard laying around.
Interesting.
That might get strong consideration. But we have the technology to do the color change. Although that's got to be a little bit tedious.
Yeah, it is. I remember trying to do that back in the day without the best equipment, and it's a great way to paint the windows on the cars, too.
Well, if you're painting the cars black, it's usually not a problem. But did you ever put together model cars?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I had the metal ones. I always got the metal model cars.
Oh, you fancy.
I did, yeah. I didn't get as many, but the ones I had a lot of Vipers. What did I have? I had the Vipers. I had a Navigator.
The first gen?
Yes, the first gen. And I tinted the windows that came in because I took the old, they were like those cheap glasses that you clip on, sunglasses you clip onto regular glasses, and I would cut out templates out of those and then shove it in there as tinted windows.
Oh, nice. Remember seeing in Model Supply a window tint spray paint for that very application.
Understood.
To use that in an automotive application would probably be a very bad idea because I can only imagine how badly that would streak trying to paint up a 2x2 sheet of glass, especially when it's currently in use.
Now just spray it on, do your windshield, and then just spread it with your windshield wipers.
Oh, okay.
It's just a great idea. So Steve,
it's like, what tint officer?
So Steve, Mr. Ric Ocasek has now left the earth and going on to being dead because that's what you do. Steve Ocasek.
Who's going to drive him home?
That is my favorite car song, and Ric Ocasek didn't even sing it. But that one and Just What I Needed were the two that I really liked the most. I was looking through some of the other ones I've heard them before, but I wasn't exactly familiar with them. Were you fairly familiar with those?
Pretty much the hits,
okay.
As per probably a lot of people observing this here and now. Hello Again is up there. Particularly that intro, that breathy, hello again.
Rick did the lead on that too, right?
I haven't broken down any of this shit.
Okay, because
that's not what this band, man.
the Drive was sang by, I believe, the bassist, and I can't remember his name. He died in 2000.
It was Orr.
Orr, there you go. What was his first name? Not Bobby Orr. He was a hockey player. God damn, I don't remember. But he did the lead on The Drive. Who's Gonna Drive You Home Tonight? That's a great song. It's I don't know what it's about. I haven't looked it up, but it is a good one. But after some research, and I'm actually we're actually not going to just read Wikipedia to you today.
What?
Ric Ocasek was not only in the Cars, but he produced not only some Cars albums, but his own solo stuff. He did 2 Weezer albums. He did the first Weezer, the Blue album was the first one, right?
Yeah, the best one.
Yeah, pretty much. We sound hipstery, but it is kind of true. He did the Blue album. He produced Nada Surf, their album.
It was popular.
Some Bad Religion.
What?
He produced a Bad Religion record.
Which ones?
I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
Something like the one that came out in, I believe, from 95 to 98. It was one of them in there. It was the mid 90s. But he did one of those, and he did a No Doubt album. So he's kind of all over the place. But he had his list of accolades with that was a lot longer than I thought it was, because I knew he produced, but I didn't know he produced like that.
Yeah.
It was quite a bit. Because you're a big Bad Religion fan, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I think that's currently second place in my Last FM collection, only to the Beastie Boys.
It's post-punk.
Oh, that's totally punk.
Oh, it's just regular punk.
Yeah.
Okay. I gotta get up on my genres, man. There's just there's too many genres.
I think it was punk rock, but from the post-punk era.
Okay. Because the post-punk
80s punk through now, but it's still anti-everything and fuck you.
Gotcha. Post-punk would be like Green Day would be post-punk, right?
I think it's more like pop punk, but it's not complete trash like a lot of pop punk is when everything sound like this. Like,
like Newfound Glory and those bands. Like Sum 41, though, I actually enjoyed some of. They have the best.
Doctor said mom should have been. Doctor told mom should have been an abortion. Portion.
Do you know the opening track on that album? Is an instrumental called "Grab the Devil by the Horns and Fuck Him Up the Ass."
He did the Gray Race, and that's awesome.
Okay. I don't even know if I could pick out a Bad Religion song if I listened to it. I need to up my game a little bit.
Are you not a 21st century digital boy? You don't know how to live, but you don't have a lot of toys.
Well, I've got a lot of toys. I need to get on the Bad Religion train. Is that more for road trips or sitting around?
Yes.
We also happened to lose Eddie Money a couple of days right before Rick died, and just like with Rick, I only kind of know the hits, which is 2 Tickets to Paradise and
Take Me Home Tonight.
Take Me Home Tonight.
Shaken.
I'm not as familiar with that
one. And then insert Crazy Piano.
I don't think I've heard it, actually.
Okay.
Are you going to fix that?
Play on air.
Homie, don't play that on air. That was in living color.
Yeah, I was going to... Wayans. Wayans.
Yeah, Marlon and fucking Damon and Johnny and...
Johnny, Billy, Bobby, like Marky.
How many?
Like, I think Wayans or Ramones, whatever.
Wait, are there more Ramones, Wayans, or Baldwin brothers?
I can say Wayans.
You're probably right.
Speaking of, I haven't seen the Alec Baldwin roast yet, but I did hear on the Jeff Roscast the like some of the jokes from that.
Yeah,
were or ones that were cut from it.
Yes,
as well as on the Greg Fitzsimmons show with Mike Gibbons having been head writer.
Mm-hmm.
There was some incredible stuff that apparently the censors really didn't care for.
Now, I didn't listen. I listened to the Jeff Ross from a couple days ago with Robert Smigel. Is that the one you listened
Yeah.
to? And I had
It was triumphant.
I had no idea he did Triumph the Insult Comic Dog. I had zero clue that he did that.
I mean, that creature's not his own thing.
What?
I thought that someone had managed to find a talking rubber dog.
For me to poop on.
Ayo.
I used to miss that because it came on. I think Conan had him on a lot. Yeah. And then Smigel was a head writer on SNL for 8 years. TV Funhouse.
Featuring a cartoon by Robert Smigel.
Come back here with my bone. Favorite comic?
What, Ace and Gary?
Yep, same here. Attaboy, Ace. Hey, what were the other comics that they had on there?
The Presidential Fight Club.
That's right.
If I remember anything else.
It's
It's only Tuesday, but it feels like it's been a week already.
TV Funhouse. Here we go. We're back to reading shit for you.
Yay.
Chinese New Year's Day. The Anapals leave the funhouse behind to try their luck in the glamorous world of lab animals. Astronaut Day, Safari Day. Let's see here. Yep, first episode was in 2000, and then the final episode was in 2001. That's
wow. It's really strange when it had a span of 2 years.
Yeah, but December 6th, 2000 to January 24th, 2001. That doesn't sound right, does it?
No.
It's its first episode. Maybe that's the Anapal, like the... This is weird. No, I guess that's true. Only 8 episodes of TV. Well, whatever. We'll look that up and we'll figure something out eventually. But yeah, Ace and Gary was the best because the car was shaped like a dick, and they had when they would fly. If you don't know what we're talking about, please look it up. It's fantastic. And then Rob Zombie was on Joe Rogan Experience. He's got another movie coming out, I think called 3 from Hell. Have you seen any of Rob Zombie's movies?
No, I just stuck to music like an adult.
You too. I've seen The Devil's Rejects, and I got to tell you, I'm a huge Rob Zombie fan, but I don't really get it. Maybe I'm not supposed to.
You're also not a big horror fan, are you?
Yeah, I do like horror movies, but that's more like whether he would admit it or not, it's like all the goofiest parts of every horror movie combined into one movie. So it's kind of like poking fun at itself without poking fun at itself. Does that make any sense at all?
It's Army of Darkness.
Which I've admittedly only seen parts of, actually. That's the boomstick, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there was the original Evil Dead, the second Evil Dead that was basically a remake of the first movie but with humor, and then Army of Darkness where all hell breaks loose, but then it's fun. And then there's the Ash vs. Evil Dead TV show that's picking up 30 years later, and he thought he was over this shit.
Is that your favorite soup? Is it Bruce Campbell's? Bruce Campbell was in Briscoe County Jr.
Yeah.
And I used to fucking love that show. It was very ahead of its time because it was very Western, but it also had like an alien aspect to it too.
Are you saying it was the original
Cowboys and Aliens?
Yeah, the original Craig joint.
Yeah. It was weird casting. I guess once you play Bond, isn't it kind of difficult to shake that?
Or stir that.
I love you. But like once you play Bond, it's like you're the guy who played Bond. It kind of seems like that.
Until you become Indiana Jones's father.
Fair. How many of the Indiana... Man, this is a very movie-heavy podcast, too. So.
It's our podcast, and we'll talk about whatever we want, man.
We could turn that into a song. Was that Brenda Lee who did It's My Party and I'll Cry If I Want To?
I won't get back to you on that. I just know it's a song, and it's burned into my brain, but I don't know who did it.
So I don't know Any other songs by Eddie Money? Going back to that.
Take Me Home Tonight is rad, but like except for Ronnie ruins it.
Ugh.
See my little baby, baby, my darling.
How's that beer feel coming out your nose?
It's felt better other ways.
Makes a better suppository.
I feel like that voice and the voice from The Memory Remains from Metallica. They need to get together. They need to get together and have one horror. Oh, and Yoko Ono while we're just getting on ear rapings. That might be the title of this. Ear rapings from the answer to everything.
Maybe not.
I have not seen Guardians of the, or is it 42 being the answer to everything? Is that Guardians of the Galaxy?
No, it was Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Hitchhiker's Guide to the...
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Guardians of the Galaxy is the answer you're looking for.
It is the answer to everything. Okay, so what is... You've seen it, right? You've seen that movie, correct?
It's been a long time, but yes.
Too long to give me a general synopsis. Really general synopsis.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, fair enough. Oh Jesus!
It's kind of a fun sci-fi romp.
Yeah, I like
based on a book of the same thing.
I like goofy sci-fi, but the thing that they were talking about on Zombie, which you absolutely need to listen to.
Hey, it's downloading right now.
Nice. You're abusing my Wi-Fi. It likes it. It likes it. They were talking about how like CGI is kind of ruining things, and I tend to agree. Like, I mean, because he said, what's scarier, something like some monster you know you're never going to see that's CGI, or a guy with a bed sheet over his head with about to strangle you in the mouth. Of course, that's more scary. It's more real. Subconsciously you're telling yourself. It's like he showed Joe showed his daughters the original Godzilla, and they were like, "This is so stupid and cheesy." He was explaining to them, like, "Yeah, it is now," but he said back in the 30s and 40s, when people watched this, they shit themselves from being scared of it. It just shows you like the perspective of it, like,
or the panic in 1938 surrounding the airing of War of the Worlds on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
That people think their town's about to be invaded by the Martians.
Yep. That's so goofy. But then now some people think the world is flat. So really, which world is worse?
I mean, speaking of scary creatures,
yeah. You absolutely, that'll be your ear candy for tonight. Listening to that, because it's so great. Because he's so humble about things.
Dan Aykroyd was on 2 episodes ago.
I listened to that too, and it's a fucking shit show. Because they very briefly talked about what Dan Aykroyd is known for, and they just deeply
go full UFO on it.
Full UFO, full Bigfoot, full every, like, I think Dan Aykroyd.
Where's your Crystal Head vodka? Because hey, he makes that too.
He does, and I asked our regulars last night at Saucer, so how is that Crystal Head vodka? And Sean goes, it sucks. Okay, fair enough, because they were talking it up, and Joe seemed to like it, but I don't know. And my goodness, you got there after. So your buddy Richard, who it's been like over a year since I've seen him. Soon, Sean called me on the way to Saucer yesterday and was like, "Hey, Richard's going to be there. I don't know if you've met him. He's half Scottish and half Chinese." I'm like, "I don't think I've met this guy." Then I show up and I see him. I'm like, "I know that guy. I've seen him before. I just didn't realize he looks just white. He doesn't look half Chinese at all." But talk about anybody.
It looks like your brother-in-law with half a beard.
Yeah, and much whiter. But he just got out of a relationship. Boy, oh boy. So when she left, she took a razor blade to all of his furniture and just completely destroyed every bit of it. Now, I'm not saying I'm glad that happened. I'm just saying he should be glad he's out of that relationship, because if she's willing to do that to your furniture after a breakup, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, when he told me that, I was like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, you don't have any pets, do you? I got my dog out of there before then. I was like, okay, that's good, because that's like a put your pet in a fucking blender sort of chick. That's what it kind of sounds like. but he when I talked about
Funny, he just added me on Facebook, so I'm presuming that was who that was.
Yep. I just added him on Facebook, so yeah. Super nice guy. Super nice guy. Also a BMWite, such as our buddy Sean is. But he said
they have this pesky habit of buying the good ones.
that's true, actually.
Yes, I'm getting really excited about my X3 diesel.
What is the hatch SUV abomination? Is that
the
6?
the X4 and the X6? Like, oh, terribly sorry that your SUV has too much room. Here, let's cut off the back.
I would rather drive a fucking third world country than drive one of those fucking things. That's just goddamn horrible.
You want a Dacia Sandero?
I love the Dacia Sandero.
Yes, you may.
I think that's the 1.6. It is the 1.6. And then they destroy it. Like a trucker driver drives right into it. That's great.
Oh, sorry about your Kia Sportage.
Steve, I have some beer news for you. We're already halfway through the topics I wrote down, but this is how it
I'm already quartered away. I have a quarter to go on this beer anyway, so whatever.
So, beer news, guys. Founders Brewing sells for $198 million to Mahou San Miguel, a Spanish brewing company.
So we can look forward to Founders Sangria.
Go on. What would be a mangria?
Not now, Adam Carolla.
I had no idea.
His alcohol gets stranger. He makes one called Brosé. I've had rosé,
Yes.
and that's not my flavor wine.
No. Well, you like
But
the
I think-
reds.
yes.
And I like the dessert wine.
Uh-huh.
We need to have a wine episode.
Okay.
I'm more than willing to.
I got a feeling this will be very Riesling and Moscato heavy. So exactly the stuff that Kalen would not drink.
I'm open to doing more other wines just to do it, and it would be fun to watch me shiver a little bit. But Mark said he wanted to be in on the wine episode, so we might have to have Mark back for that. But we also ought to have a spouse edition of this one time and have the ladies in here on this, because although I'll be honest, the car history for Emily will be super boring, and Kaylin's is probably not much more interesting.
There are a few more interesting ones in there.
Okay, good. That's good, because Emily's is 2, and it's the same car, 13 years apart. So exactly the same car. Although
no, it's not. The second one's less well spec'd.
fair.
Hubcaps and no sunroof. Duh.
Well, I'm married to her this time. She bought that car before we were even engaged, and I would have thwarted that. I don't hate it. It's just a very boring car. But she says she wants to sit up higher. So that automatically puts her in the CUV market when she's... Because the Accord only has a $128 on it. She has a fairly long commute, but she doesn't do much driving outside of work. I usually do the driving. So I'm trying to talk her into the Lexus NX, whatever.
She doesn't need to turbocharge anything, by the way.
It's kind of for me, too. But it's the smallest Lexus CUV.
I was thinking that or an Acura RDX.
I like the RDX. And she'll probably gravitate towards the Honda Acura because that's all she knows. The HRV wouldn't be a bad one for her either.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be enough power to yeah. But the RDX does have
But
more.
I think the lack of power is very conducive to her road raging.
Fair enough, yeah. But I told her, I was like, if you get an SUV, I'll get me a little like hatchback car to piddle paddle around with, and then I'll just take your SUV to the gigs.
You're just gonna have to, you just have to like steal your neighbor's garage at this point.
And there's too many. Like, I keep on being on the lookout and for my next toy, but there's just so many good choices, and there's so many like, well, if I get this, I can't do this, because I don't like convertibles, but I have a convertible.
Yeah, whereas like, I can't do this, and I still can't do that. Aww.
I like the idea of the removable targa top. Like, that's perfect because
you would never remove it.
I would on that, only because it's much easier to take off. I could do it by myself. Theoretically, I could take the hard top off on the S2000. I'm not ever going to try because they're so expensive to replace that I don't want to do it like that. but like the Corvette and the Viper, like they have those panels you could just lift off. You could take that off easily. I'm okay with that. But as traditional convertibles, not a huge fan of, which is weird to hear me say that. But
You like a convertible so much, it's a coupe.
if they would have made an S2K with a permanent hardtop, that's the one I would have bought. And it's heavy enough now that it might as well be permanent. Jesus. But yeah, there's too many good choices. It's a good time to be a gearhead, and it's also a shitty time to be not have enough money to buy everything you want. Nissan is doing the new Z car, and evidently, it's going to be lighter. And I don't know if it's going to be a 6 or not, but it might be a Turbo 4. But it's going to be tentatively. The 370Z I actually do like, but it is too heavy and it's too expensive. Because I drove one.
Even now?
You can get really good deals on them, but you're still brand new 2019 Z base model, probably going to be about 32, which is not. I mean, that's used Corvette money.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just buy the Vet.
How much would like a decent used 370Z be?
That's what I was talking about. The used
15, 10?
15 to 20. 15 to 20. The anniversary models that came in the gunmetal gray with the matching wheels was beautiful, but it just heavy. It didn't feel. It was in a straight line faster than the S2000 when I drove it. A little bit faster in a straight line, but just didn't feel like it. And it was very heavy. I don't. I do like it, but I'm glad I didn't buy it. I will say that. I'm trying to find the pictures of the Nissan Z concept that. Let's see here. It's kind of like a baby GTR, but this was one of the renderings. And if it looks anything like that, I would love to have that.
Ooh,
that's pretty. That's very pretty.
Makes a better looking Supra.
It really fucking is. Sorry, Brian. That was a rendering. I was trying to find there was one more rendering of it, and let's see here. Not bad either. It's supposed to be lighter though, because the 370Z is fairly heavy for what it is. I think it's 3,300 or 3,400 pounds for a V6 car. That's a bit. That's completely different. Ooh. No, go away. Get off my screen. But I would like it more if it looked kind of like the old 240Z.
Mm-hmm.
I really like this. What they call the poor man's E-Type.
Yep.
I always loved that. Have you seen the there was a
the designs, right? They built that car for 13 years.
It's true. I was going to try to find that 240 that I love, and I would love to build, like, that would be the one I would buy. I'd like to do a resto mod on it.
Speaking of, whatever happened to those ones, the 240Zs that Nissan restored back in the 90s? Remember that?
I don't think I remember
think it was like
that.
for the 25th anniversary of the Z car, you could buy a restored by Nissan original 240Z.
No shit.
And next year's the 50th anniversary of that bad boy.
Jesus. It's hard. It sucks getting old. Why's my Wi-Fi, my modem is literally in the next bedroom over. and for some fucked up reason, it's just not like cooperating. Like that right there, if I could find one like that, this one's 17.5. That is gorgeous.
Yep.
Oh my god, that's so pretty. But could you imagine putting like the modern like RB26 from Japan, the inline 6 turbo in that, and have a really comfortable. God, that'd be so cool.
You ever get an LS swap it, man?
I wouldn't mind that, but I think with that car, I would rather stick with a Nissan motor. The Mazda, the RX-7, Mazda doesn't make an engine that I would want to put in an RX-7 FD. What was the last Mazda sports car that didn't have a rotary in it that's not a Miata?
Could you count a Mazda Speed 3?
I just wonder the logistics and how that would fit in there.
I think
2.8.
2.3 turbo.
It's a 4, right?
Yeah, and I've heard those are nightmarish to keep running. I think Car and Driver attempted to shoehorn a Mazda 3 engine into the Mazda 5 van to make a Mazda Speed 5.
Nice.
And realized just because these cars start with the same basic engine doesn't mean any of the wiring lines up.
Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. But yeah, Mazda doesn't make a performance engine. That's why you see the FD get swapped out for an LS. I got it. Grand National 3.86
nice.
Supercharged in an RX.
It'd be funny if you use a Ford motor though. And never mind that they divorced back in 2012.
True, but a Coyote V8 would look mighty nice in there.
Yep.
Granted, it would be 100 pounds more than the L. The reason the LS is so popular is because it's cheap. They're in a million fucking different cars, and they don't take up that much room.
It's compact, yeah.
It's very compact. It's very easy to work on. The Coyote V8 is a fantastic engine, and Mark can tell you about that. But it is quite a bit more technological, and it's not a pushrod engine. It's the overhead cam engine. So that's why it sounds different than that old 302 that you hear in those old school Mustangs, which still sounds great, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it really does. If you hear that sound go down the road, you go, that's a modular 4.6-liter V8 every time. I'm out of beer.
You too.
Yep. What's next?
Speaking of Mustangs, Colin may not be departing with the good old 5.0.
Oh.
It apparently runs now, and got some new brakes, new tires on it.
Colin, old yeller that thing, please.
Or I don't know. Or fuck it, paint it up, drive the damn thing.
That too. But it's a good
having it be 4 shades of magenta hasn't been a good look for a while.
I don't see what the villain from G.I. Joe was. It no magenta was not in G.I. Joe. It was
Zoolander. No, magenta.
No, magenta was a bad
no. That
guy.
Was in
He-Man.
No, Rocky Horror.
God, no, magenta was. I was pretty sure. No, it was Magneto. Was that X-Men?
Because we're not comic people.
Magenta. Oh, Jesus Christ!
Can't wait till we're funny that we're gonna be comical people.
What's next? You brought stuff. I had stuff left over.
Let's see if those red ryes are worth the damn.
Red rye?
Yep.
Red River. Let Steve go get the beer this time.
Doesn't rhyme.
It does. By the way, Red Rover, super violent fucking game, actually. Now that I look back at it. Never played it, but I would watch it and I would go, that looks painful. I don't think I want to do that. You remember the game, don't you? Yep. And you know what? My clothes never even stayed dry. That's bullshit. I thought the Rocky Mountains would be a little rockier than that.
Sounding different full of shit, man.
I don't think I've ever had this. You?
Well, yes, I have, and it's great.
Oh my God.
Thanks, Costco Mix Pack.
That doesn't taste like an IPA, though. That just tastes like a really hoppy red ale. Steve, read about it. Extra.
Flipside finds the perfect balance between hops and malt in this easy drinking red IPA. It features just enough smooth and slightly sweet malt body to support huge citrusy and tropical fruit-forward hop flavors. This is the Sierra Nevada Flipside Red IPA, brought to you by Sierra Nevada of Appalachia, Carolina.
And it looks like a Days of the New album cover. This is fantastic. That's a new top 20.
Are you going to put this on the shelf in your room?
It's been the way of holding me and letting me stay. By the way, that is one of my favorite albums, front to back. I'd never listened to it on headphones before. I listened to it in headphones, and it's a game. It's like listening to it all over again for the very first time.
So then it's just the music, not the cats meowing, not the refrigerator, not the car.
Just the music, and me playing GT3 while listening to it.
Nice.
But makes the 100 lap races go by just a bit quicker.
Have you tried Motorhead in case you need these to go even faster?
Well, I haven't, but I do listen to the podcast, but it was. I love listening to things on good headphones. Like if you've only listened to things on earbuds before, listeners, that's way different. Listen to them on closed back headphones. Listen to your favorite albums. It's like listening to them all over again. You get to hear the panning and like, oh, I didn't hear that before. I didn't hear that before either. It's really fucking groovy. Travis Meeks though, very strange guy. I think he also has a touch of Asperger's, and he also was a meth head. So, but the good music's got to come from somewhere, though. Steve, so back to the beer news. I did not think Founders was worth $198 million. I mean, I knew they were big, but that's
colossal,
substantial money for what is considered the upper echelon of craft beer.
Mm-hmm.
Like usually, everybody knows what Founders is because from the CBS and KBS those releases. Did you think it would? Almost $200 million. Not a. What are we doing with our lives? This
too much and not enough.
So, in other beer news, Coors Distributing adds CBD infused beverages in Denver, Colorado. Yep. So, just in Colorado, they have CBD infused beers that are just exclusive to Colorado. Now, we've had probably half dozen options of what the hemp or the
CBD products now available around these parts.
Gotta tell you, though, I don't really enjoy the beers that much. The Jazz Cabbage.
Oh, yeah, the hemp ones? Yeah. It just kind of tastes like burning.
It does.
The Hemperor was the biggest offender. That ruined my palate for the following 3 days. That it tasted like a licked a tailpipe. Yeah,
it's all the bad parts about weed, and none of the good.
Yeah,
like I'm sure somebody's got. Sweetwater has
the G13.
Yeah.
What's a hop strand that tastes hemp-ish, and that seems to be the least offensive of them.
Yeah,
but that's currently keeping me from buying more of the Sweetwater Tallboy packs because I don't like that beer enough to ruin the other 3 decent options in there.
Fair enough. You don't want to be sitting on that like a year later and just have to drink it.
Oh.
Like you have that left and nothing else, and you really don't want to go.
I drank enough of it. Like I didn't hate it as much, but it's like I still don't like this.
It's not good.
I was like, just make a pack of 4 IPAs, Costco. It's going to be okay.
I haven't looked into it, but like CBD was, like it's supposed to be. They have all these outrageous claims, like it's good for arthritis and it's good for depression and it's good for like I know pot is good for depression.
Yeah, it's basically it's the pot effects without the high.
Okay.
So therefore, that's why it's legal-ish, and you see it popping up everywhere. Earth Fare already carries CBD products, and certain Harris Teeters in the south side of town will be carrying them as well.
Interesting. Did not know that. I haven't done enough of the research to know if it's
wink.
Not that research, but yeah, that research and the other research to know if a lot of these claims, because there's a lot of claims about CBD is good for arthritis and joint pain, and CBD is good for fucking hair falling out and make your dick hard and like all this other. There's so many claims that CBD is like this perfect fucking thing that I'm a little bit skeptical that it's that good at everything. But call me Penn Jillette. I'm just kind of skeptical about everything.
I gotta call bullshit on it.
Kind of. I hate to interrupt this for a sad moment, but we're gonna raise our beers, and it's Levi's birthday.
Oh,
happy birthday, our fallen comrade. Still don't know what happened. Maybe I never will. I need to be happy. Steve, other beer news.
Yes.
Utah. That other square state.
Speaking of square states, state of squares. oddly enough, some killer beers come out of it. But so, what's up in Provo?
Utah to raise the ABV of beer from 3.2% to 5%, despite public outcry from the Church of Latter-day Saints.
Which is funny because so that must mean everything Uinta's making is export only.
It must be.
Or Satellite Brewery in Colorado, a state south of there.
Yep, I believe so. I believe to buy beer in like it has to be right now it has to be 3.2 or less ABV. They're raising it to 5.
Something about a beer coming out of Utah that the North Carolina ABC board shot down. That they were calling it the Polygamy Pale Ale.
Is it a 3-pack?
Or 4, 6, 8.
God, like I forgot where I saw it, but it was Atheist Republic, and it was like, should polygamy be illegal? And the top comment was, yeah, sure. I already disappoint one woman. Let's make it 2. I don't know if I could do that. Now, because that layer of thinking is the male is the patriarch of everything, and then the females are there to be. But if it was equal, that might work if it's consenting adults. If you got 3 or 4 people, and they want to all be equal, and nobody's above anybody else, that might actually work. But people are people, and people are fucking horrible. So I have my doubts. I even have my doubts about marriage sometimes. Not mine, but the idea of it in general. Like, it's hard enough to take care of yourself, much less to do it in a group. So could you imagine being married to like 3 different women?
No.
That's a very definitive answer from our comrade. God, that'd be fucking horrible. If you,
it took me long enough to find one that likes me.
Oh, they all like you, but people are fucking crazy. And we all thank our lucky stars that it was this one and not the other one. But the other one, evidently, she was on the roast the other night too. Only some of you will get that. Jesus Christ. We need to go back up to Sierra Nevada, too. Pretty soon. But every time I go, like, it's just so fucking busy. Emily and I stopped.
It's like people want to go there or something. They know what they're doing.
That's fucking weird. Well, we stopped there last cabin trip on the way home on a Sunday, and I think we got there at like 11:45. It was a 2-hour wait for a table on a Sunday at 11:45 in the morning. It's a great place.
Well, now they can start serving at 10 a.m., so that's why.
It's a great place. Don't get me wrong. I'm not waiting in line for 2 hours for almost anything. Almost anything.
So you're saying that you're not going to Disney World anytime soon?
I have less than no desire to go to Disney World. I didn't even want to go to Disney World when I was young enough to appreciate going to Disney World. I was like, how far away is that? How much is that going to cost us?
Mm-hmm.
Just buy me some more Legos. I'll be happy right here. But I will, however.
I think there's a Legoland in Orlando. Like, I do want to check that one out.
I've never been to any. How many of them are there?
I guess there's that and one in Denmark.
I'd rather go to the one in Denmark.
You and what passport?
That's a long drive. I need to go get my passport, though, because we still don't know where we're going in May, which we need to talk about because it is already September. So,
Providence. Say you're from the Charlotte branch of the Buddy Cianci fan club.
Well, I wouldn't mind going to Maine. You've visited Rhode Island and loved it.
Yep.
Not much to do, but the scenery is beautiful, right? There's a brewery in Rhode Island, isn't there?
There are a few.
Okay. Did you go to them?
No, the time was way too tight. And then upon getting back, Caitlin had to go to work that Friday, and then her boss was like, "Oh, I wasn't sure if you're going to be in the day." Bitch.
Has she updated the old resume?
I think it's getting to that point.
Gotcha. Well, I'm undecided if it's going to be better or worse to try to find jobs after the first of the year. There's a lot of some companies want to wait until after then to hire, and then others don't want to hire at all for the first quarter.
Oh, I'll change my answer from the beginning of this podcast, by the way. Who were brought to us today by 4 fucking months get a rejection letter from a job.
4 months ago?
Yeah.
That's fucking horrible.
Uh-huh.
Don't even send any. Like, it's better not to even send anything.
I figured, but thanks.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's better not to even send anything at all. Like, oh, here, open that wound. Here's some salt. Like,
delicious.
Well, we're gonna get that salt later. We're gonna get assaulted. So, Steve, I am out of beer news for you. Utah's gonna be a bunch of drunks now, and they're not gonna be able to worship whatever LDS does.
Jesus Christ! But tomorrow. What do you mean, wrong latter day?
Oh, I was thinking about shoots in latter days.
Slide on into that one.
What is your favorite board game?
Shoots and Ladders was up there.
It's pretty fun.
That or Game of Life.
Life was entertaining. I remember landing on something. It was your ship. Was it your ship hits an iceberg, but you sell ice cubes to Eskimos? Collect $10,000. I always laughed at that one. Life is the one you. What were the game pieces?
You had like the little car with the peg holes in it, like the pegs
right.
representing males and females,
And then the kids.
Yeah,
okay.
And like during which you could get a house and draw your card for picking up whatever house.
Gotcha.
And then it wasn't until later realizing that split levels aren't shitty like the one in the card was depicting.
True. We almost bought a split level out in Matthew near Sardis.
And it was built in the 70s or 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah. I loved it. I loved everything about it.
I rented one in Cary, and that place was about 90% complete. It was built in 86, and we were renting this in 04, but the walls behind the kitchen cabinets did not exist.
Yikes.
Like, man, that's some pretty serious half-assery going on right there. Or in that case, no assery.
Quarter assery. What was I? Oh, the house was perfect. The problem was the master bathroom. They say kitchens and bathrooms sell the house, and in this case, they were correct. The reason we didn't put a bid in on it, the master bathroom was if not the same size, a hair smaller than our downstairs bathroom.
I figured the big issue was going to be there are 2 toilets and they're facing each other.
No, it was that small. Like if you were
snug.
Yeah. If you know how it's kind of like an L shape down there. If you took and made it a perfect square and then put a tub where that's how it was, very tiny. And I was like, well, this could be your bathroom, and then I could use the one out there. And she's like, I don't know about that. I'm like, all right, let's not bid on it. It'd have been 30 grand cheaper, but I think we did okay with it.
But after that renovation to expand that bathroom, no, it isn't.
Exactly. Because I was already in my head, I wonder how much it would cost to renovate and make this bathroom just a little bit bigger. But it's okay. I think we lucked out. I think we're in an area that's going to continue to grow because it already has. Going down Lawyers Road, you can just that used to be a field, and now it's house. Steve, you need to go out to Southern Roots Bar and Grill where we played. It was the place that the people from Grumpy Muck.
Oh, okay.
It is awesome on the inside. And one of the regulars who used to go there and come and watch us, they were watching us there. The acoustics in this room are just great. Everything. He's like, hey, you sound really good tonight. It's like almost like somebody else is singing. I was like, thanks a lot, asshole. He's like, I didn't mean it like that. I was like, no, it's just fine. It was a busy weekend for music.
Excuse me, sir. How's your tennis playing? Because your backhand is fantastic.
Friday night was at Nodi. Saturday afternoon was at Red Hill Brewing in Concord. And
that's a fun spot.
It is. And then that night was at Southern Roots. But I didn't know. Like, he just told me, Chris is the owner at Red Hill. Super nice guy. Very super hospitable. Just always willing to just, do you need anything else?
I'm glad they can draw a crowd there because that's not the easiest thing to find.
True.
Like, oh, good. It's like,
Roberts.
It's, above Little Roberts and access from the back side of the building.
Yeah. And
it's like there's parking there if you can find where to.
That's my least favorite place to load and unload too, because when you go up the stairs, the door opens towards the stairs, and you have all this heavy shit in your hands.
Like what's the how's that allowed with the ADA and all? This is there an elevator or just have to use a slide?
A slide would be awesome, or a fireman pole. I'd take that.
That's gonna be a lot of fun with the bass amp.
I didn't know what event. He's like, there's an event and they wanted music for it. And I was like, okay, so I'll do it. So I did it. And then I didn't know what the event was. Well, right up underneath, I'm not sure if you knew this. So when you go into Red Hill, down below, there's a gym to the left, downstairs. You go upstairs to Red Hill, downstairs is to a big gym. They had a CrossFit championship going on. So it was a bunch of meathead jabronis.
Flipping tires and flexing a lot.
Flexing and jumping stuff and lifting weights. And I was like, oh, this is the event.
So you had extra percussion?
Well, the event, my music started after the event ended. So as soon as they got done, the event was over. They were doing their trophies and presentations on who looks the buffest.
Those were just sweaty assholes coming upstairs.
Basically. I made zero money in tips, if that tells you about this crowd, but which is fine because the crowd at Southern Roots was fucking banging ass. And besides, I get paid regardless. I don't care if they fucking tip or not. But the people were coming upstairs after the award ceremony, and everybody's sweaty and glistening, fucking ripped and everything. And
all gyms, no showers.
And I went, yeah, it's for sure.
Ugh.
I was like, who won? And then the old guy that was at the bar the entire time turns back and goes, I fucking won, man. I was like, you were the under 21 section, right? He's like, yeah, man. I was like, jokes on all of y'all here. I was like, I've looked this way since I graduated high school, and I don't even eat fruits or vegetables or work out. My diet consists of, my exercise is singing, and my day job where I lift a lot of heavy shit, but that's neither here nor there.
Your job is CrossFit, man.
I like the idea of doing it, but it kind of seems like a cult.
Yes.
I was hoping you would agree with me.
Yes. Back in my dating days, had a couple of women that basically ditched me for CrossFit.
Ugh.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't hold that workout cult in high regard.
It seems like nobody does CrossFit and does it quietly and just to be in shape. Like, if you do CrossFit, you have to be all about CrossFit. Like, that has to be your life. Like, you go to work, you come home, you CrossFit, and then you go to bed, you get up, and you go to CrossFit.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just casually.
So a CrossFitter, a vegan, and an atheist walk into a bar. How do you know?
They all told you. What if it was a CrossFitting vegan atheist? Does that even exist?
I would assume as much.
I'm sure 2 out of 3. I'm sure there is a CrossFitting atheist but isn't vegan. But I'm also certain that there's a vegan atheist that doesn't do. I'm sure that exists a lot, actually. We're weird, though.
I think I might have had one day when I didn't eat meat, so the veganism was temporary.
And accidental veganism is a great band.
There's your episode title.
Accidental vegan. If animals are not supposed to be eaten, why are they made of food? I didn't climb the Ron White bit. I didn't climb to the top of the food chain to eat lettuce.
Yeah.
We need to expand our meat game and go to like a fucking tried and true butcher shop.
I would say, like, go to Black and Grinder. Oh, wait, they closed.
Where were they?
Providence and Sharon Lake.
Okay.
Really close to my old dwelling.
Did they close because their name was suspiciously close to the gay dating website?
Yeah.
Or if you like the interracial, it'd be Black and Grinder.
No, idea being Chopping Block and Meat Grinder. No.
That sounds kinky.
Rower.
No. Haven't done like 10 episodes.
That one?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Holy. No, you can't just be all about CrossFit. Like, but to be fair, I mean,
I'm not. What do you want?
we have our things too. So I guess we shouldn't throw stones in a glass house. Steve, you got any news of the weird for us? I've never seen you look that confused before.
What?
Pardon me, I haven't eaten in a while.
If I prepare for this, we could have a lot more fun with this sort of thing. Whoops. And no.
We can do that. We can be we can do that, and we're about to do that. 2019 news of the weird. Yes, let's do this.
Ken Burns made a documentary on country music.
Who is Ken? I get him and Ken Jennings mixed up.
Ken Jennings is the Jeopardy champion. Ken Burns is the documentarian.
Why can't we have both?
Ken Burns doing his documentary on game shows. With special guest Ken Jennings.
Is that how Ken Burns talks?
No.
Oh.
Just trying to do old school detective or newscaster voice.
You sound like the comic book guy from The Simpsons. Worst podcast
Worst
ever.
bit ever.
Let's see here. News of the weird, guys. 4 Australian kids took running away from home to a new level on July 13th when they wrote a goodbye note and absconded with cash, fishing gear, and an SUV belonging to one of their parents. The 3 boys and 1 girl, aged 10 to 14, left Rockhampton in Queensland and headed south to Grafton, a trip of more than 600 miles. Along the way, they twice bought gas without paying and survived a short police chase in New South Wales, which was terminated by the Highway Patrol, quote, due to the age of the driver and road conditions. Acting Police Inspector Darren Williams told Fox News around 10:30. Police finally caught up with the kids, who locked the doors and refused to exit the car. An officer broke the window with a baton to gain entry. The young thieves will be charged, but they couldn't be questioned until their parents showed up. That's fantastic.
I would have more fun with it.
Oh.
Not leaving the car? Fine. Tow truck!
Boss.
Or bury it. Tow van. Spy hunter that shit.
What would they do? Like, I guess they would have to... That'd be a slow speed chase after that, because then they would just be following the tow truck.
No. It'll be a matter of, you're not going to talk? Fine. We're hauling you and your car to the station.
Let's see here. $80,000 worth of wigs are stolen from a South Florida warehouse.
I've seen prices on those, so they stole 3 of them?
Yeah, for real. Stolen in a hair-raising robbery. Thanks.
Leave your rabbits out of this.
100 cylinders of bull semen go up in smoke and fire at a cattle breeding farm. I didn't know it was flammable. Did you?
That would have taken a lot of olive oil.
What does Popeye's girlfriend have to do with this?
Shelley Long? Woof.
Florida couple attempted to have sex in the cop car in the back. I guess they got arrested for something unrelated and then decided to fuck in the back. I mean, you can still get clothes off with handcuffs. Wow, check out the pot. That's that's total heroin right there, bud.
Those tattoos are just dirt.
Yes.
Dirtoos.
Dirtoos. Running with tree strapped to your back is the key to winning the Cape Town, South African Marathon.
Pardon? Oh, it was in horizontally, so no one can pass you.
That would be awesome. No, this Sunday, an accountant, an entrepreneur, and a boxing executive are among 20 friends running the Cape Town Marathon with saplings strapped to their backs. They're promoting the planting of native trees amid a nationwide push to replace invasive species with indigenous ones to cope with drought and climate change. Good luck with that.
Irony being if they're white.
Yeah. Why are South Americans? Why are South Africans not called African Americans? And why are Egyptians not called African Americans? Because they are from Africa. Steve, Emily's parents are embarking on a trip to Italy for 2 weeks. They'll be in Italy for 2 weeks. Now, you've been...
So, house party in Cary?
Yeah, we can do that. She has the key. I have never been to Europe. You've been to Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Where else have you been in Europe?
Germany.
All right, so you flew straight into...
Yeah, it was...
From JFK?
No, Greensboro to Atlanta to Frankfurt.
Okay. I didn't realize there was a direct flight from Atlanta to Frankfurt.
At least there was in 1999.
How long do you remember how long that was?
I think 8 hours.
That's not as bad as it seems. I think the longest continuous trip is from Newark to
Australia or
Taiwan.
I figured it was like that could be up there, or Australia or New Zealand.
Let me check that, because the longest I've ever been in a plane nonstop was 5 straight hours, and that was from here to San Diego. But
Funny, in Vegas is what, 4:45?
I don't know what plane we were on the way back, but we made it in 4 hours and 10 minutes, which is fucking booking it. We landed so early that they didn't have a spot for us. We got there early, and we ended up getting off the plane at the same time we would get off the plane if it would have landed on time. Nobody was complaining about it at all, but Frontier gave us a voucher. Everybody got a $50 off your next flight voucher. Everybody on our plane. I was like, all right, Frontier, way to go, man. Now I'm a big Frontier fan. Now I can say this without fear of Murphy's Law, but Frontier's never had a crash.
Funny thing in them having been a tiny airline until recently.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they now have the continental U.S. covered, a little bit of Mexico, a little bit of Canada. But apparently they've been around 25 years, but only recently made it this way, and the Charlotte terminal is on the far side of anything.
Yep. I will say I don't know if I told about this on the last episode, but
that would have been right before you went to Vegas.
Oh, I have. Yeah, I guess I haven't talked about anything from Vegas, have I? I can do that. The longest nonstop flight available right now is Qatar to Auckland. That doesn't seem right, does it? Qatar's on that side of...
New Zealand. Seems plausible.
Well, here's in the Guinness, the world's longest commercial flight left Singapore for New York City.
I mean, unless you're flying by hot air balloon, then getting anywhere is going to take a while.
I prefer my air balloons to be cold. From Singapore to New York was 19 hours. Yep, Singapore to Newark was 9,534 miles. And then Qatar to Auckland was 9,032 miles. I had no idea it was that far from Qatar to New Zealand. No, Auckland's in Australia. Auckland is in New Zealand? Okay, I got it right the first time. Trust your instincts, guys. That's That's a long time to be on a plane. Like 5 hours. 5 hours actually wasn't that bad. I mean,
Yeah.
I listened to 2 Joe Rogan podcasts and I was there. So, and then they showed a movie, which I think they should have played Airplane 1 and 2. Then I would have watched that. But
Yeah, fun thing with Frontier being very no frills, like even your snacks cost extra.
yeah, if you want to do anything but drink water, then it costs you. Yeah, you're right. We did a podcast 2 weeks ago to the day, and I was about to leave for Vegas. I was on a flight, and all right, so there's 3 wide. You had the lady was seating already. She had the window seat. I had the middle seat. Nobody was in the aisle seat. So I sat down the aisle seat, and I was like, I'm just going to wait and see if somebody has a seat or not. Well, we're getting very, very close to the gates closing. I still have this seat. And, well, nobody's there. And then, like, 5 minutes before they close the gate, somebody's walking on the plane. And I saw her. She's walking. And I went, yep, she's got this seat. I just fucking know it. And she did. So I slid over. And her carry-on was an urn of a deceased loved one. She was traveling to Sacramento to spread the ashes. Her breath smelled like rotten teeth and like old people breath. Not only did her breath smell like that, her whole body smelled like that. So I had to sit next to somebody carrying a dead person who smelled like a dead person for 4.5 hours. You ever had a flight worse than that?
The few times I've flown have actually been really pleasant.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the trick is that flew, a couple times late 90s and then early 01, and then didn't fly till Denver 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And then have flown a couple of times this year.
Yeah. I'll be going to Denver
So
next
I think
year.
the trick to maintaining pleasant flights is to not do it much.
Yeah, that
So
was...
apparently the life of a traveling comedian is not for me.
That was the worst. Yes, that was the worst. And the way home was a piece of cake, other than waiting in the terminal. And then I explained to everyone just how shitty the flight over was. And they were like, yeah, we'll sit here and wait. We're not going to complain about this. But I had 2 Indian folks beside me on the way home. But they ended up, there was a complete row that was empty. And they moved to that before the plane even took off. So I had the entire row to myself. So I just kicked back and relaxed. But I explained to one of the Indian folks how to play Free Cell. I was playing it on my phone. He's like, what are you playing? And I was explaining to the game. So I taught somebody something on my way home.
All right.
But no, the flights were great. In-N-Out Burger is totally good. Not great, not bad. I'd go back. When I'm back in Vegas, I will go back to In-N-Out Burger. It's good. The people are friendly. The food's very fresh. I'm not sure if it was worth a 33-year wait, but it was good. Sin City Brewing is... did you go to Sin City?
I didn't make it to any breweries in my trip since time was tight on both of them, so I'm doing this all wrong.
Gotcha. Well, we're probably going to go back for my birthday, and Colin's already expressed interest in going and booking the timeshare. I wouldn't have minded going back to Bally's, but if it's free, then it's kind of want to win out.
Just buy them every last Guinness product you can find.
So I was going to pay for the room for everybody, and then everybody just crash in the room. But if the room's paid for, everybody's invited. If you're my friend and you want to go to Vegas for my birthday, you're invited. You think you can make that one?
Perhaps.
All right, cool.
Well, they might have a wedding a few months later, but that's still up in the air.
Is there a tentative date? Is there a tentative season?
I think right now 2020 is a tentative year.
There's plenty of chances. Oh, when did you guys go on your first date?
April 3rd, 2016.
That's a bit soon, but April 3rd, 2020. I don't even know what day that is. Okay, Google. What day is April the 3rd, 2020? Friday. That kind of works. You just have you now have your date. Imposed by me.
Yes, it's here on the podcast. Therefore, it's been set in stone.
Emily and I got married 5 days before the very first time we met 3 years. So we met on May 24th, and we got married on May 19th, 3 years later. So I ordered something for her, and it's about the damn cutest thing. She's not listening to this. She's never going to listen to this, and she's not listening to it right now.
Bunny Rabbit, the cats are going to love it.
Here's what I ordered. It's a 24-inch by 16-inch canvas.
Cute.
Very. Yep. And that's the maps of where we met, where I asked her to marry me, and then where we got married. I think she's going to love it. She has no idea I'm getting it for her. So 365 Canvas is where I got it from. So in case you want some cutesy shit like that.
Nope.
And I'm so, like, I want to tell her she has a surprise coming, but then I don't. I kind of want to just surprise her with it, and I think that's what I'm going to do. Instead of telling her, then she's going to ask questions.
Yeah.
So
I'm prone to messing that sort of thing up, too.
Got some for you. Gonna be real nice. I hope you like it in bronze.
That used to be a thing. Bronzing shoes.
It's fucking stupid.
It is, isn't it? Can't wear
It's
them
a waste of
anymore.
metal.
Yeah.
Well, usually the baby's feet are too big.
While in Vegas, I entered 3 poker tournaments and finished 6th in all 3 of them again. Just like I did in Harrah's and Cherokee, I finished in 6th place in both of those. So I'm just going to finish in 6th place all the time.
Hey, as long as it pays, it's not so bad.
I broke even. Well, that and the slot machine. I broke even for the whole trip. So I'll take that. Did I tell you about the slot machine?
Yeah, but I don't remember anything right now.
If you ever want,
if anything, the listeners haven't.
If you haven't won at slot machines, if you want to know how to get the ones that win the most, don't play the ones at McCarran Airport at Vegas.
Whoops.
They're there for tourists and they don't pay out. Don't play ones near exits and don't play ones on the perimeter of anything. The idea is they want you to go in their casino and be inside their casino and spend money. So you need to be inside in the interior of their casino. So I went and I looked around and I picked one, put $20 in on my checkout. Right before I checked out of the hotel, had my bag in my hand, my Krispy Kreme donut in the other. Yes. And $20. Max bet $250. Nothing. Max bet $250. Nothing. Max bet $250. Nothing. Kept doing max bet, got down to $5, hit max bet, and won $270 and went, let's cash this baby out. I'm going to the airport early. So that's exactly what I did. I had a very nice gentleman beside me at the poker table, Bally's, from Switzerland. Super nice guy. He looked at my card tattoos I have because he had a king and a queen. His parents taught him how to play cards, and so he had a king. And they both passed away untimely, and I don't remember how because I was taking advantage of those free drinks.
Mm-hmm.
He had a king and a queen representing them on his arm, and he was asking him, I was like, where are you from? He said, Switzerland. And he's like, I'm not really a big drinker. He goes, I like to drink, but we don't really get anything but vodka, and we just kind of get vodka and stuff like that. And he's like, what are you drinking? And I told him I was drinking a Godfather, which we've had on here before. And he's like, I don't know what's in that, but he called the waitress. I'll have what he's having. So he drank toe to toe with me, and he tried. I was like, "You like it?" He's like, "This is delicious." And then I got a White Russian, and he got the same. He kept on ordering the same drink. He's like, "I trust this man. I trust this." I was like, "We're at the poker table, man. I don't know if you should be trusting me or not." He's like, "I trust you with my drinks, but not with what you got."
All right, you're not too drunk yet, bud.
Super nice guy, though. Yeah. So he had his first Godfather, which was his first bourbon. his first White Russian. I was like, "You never seen The Big Lebowski?" He's like, "No." I was like, "Oh, you
Who
need to
is
see
Lebowski?
But and then I think I finished up with an old fashioned, and he never even had an old fashioned before.
Oh
so-
dear,
Oh yeah,
missing out. That's a staple in my household.
Oh, yeah, for real. That's such a great drink. Now I usually do the rye whiskey with mine.
Yeah.
Do you?
Do whatever whiskey's closest in the bar.
Try it with the try it one time with the rye whiskey. Because the bite of the rye kind of really like counteracts that sweetness of your cherry and like everything else too. I really want your cherry, Steve.
Stay off my slot machine.
I got commissioned for sex twice and cocaine once, and declined all three. Had I been not married, I would have only declined one. So, but that it's funny because there were two of the showgirls. For those of you who've never been to Vegas, there's Elvis impersonators and showgirls wearing thongs and wings and crowns, wanting you to take pictures with them, and then they hustle you like, hey, take a picture, and then they get a picture like, oh, that was $5. They don't tell you it costs money, but one of them,
like in New Orleans, what we called shot rape. It was like girl wander up with these like test tubes of drink, like force feeds you one, takes one, then charges you for it. Like,
yep. Same way in New Orleans that people get down on their hands and knees, start spraying your shoes. I'll shine your shoes, $20. I'll get them. Like, stop fucking doing that.
no, you're getting punted in the face. Shut
These
up.
are not even shineable shoes.
Yeah.
Like, that was the title
last.
of the episode.
That was last one.
But she kind of taps. She taps me, but kind of tap rubs my arms. Like, I like that card tattoo. And then the other one pops her on the arm. She goes, "We're supposed to be working." Thank you. Met a really nice lady from Nebraska at Sin City Brewing. She was in town for work. She works for the government, and she fucking hates living in Nebraska, even though she's from there. She lives in Lincoln with her husband. Her husband wants to stay.
They're from one of the cities there.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's only downhill from there,
For
if there
real.
were even hills there.
Yeah. And I was like, why do you want to leave? She goes, it's too Trumpy. I was like, well, what a coincidence. There are parts of me that want to leave North Carolina for the same reason. Granted, Nebraska is way more Trumpy than North Carolina is. At least North Carolina goes
Purple.
blue, goes purple sometimes. It's funny, all the cities go blue, 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 and then all of where I was born
Yeah,
goes
it's incredible
red.
how individualistic people get when there's no one next to them.
Isn't that weird? If you're never around anything other than people like you, that's just kind of strange like that. That's why, was it Andrew Zimmern? Travel moves you. I got the travel bug now. I want to go fucking everywhere. Our bank account says, no, you don't really want to go everywhere. You want to go a select few places once a year. Hey,
They're saying the drive to Mooresville last night wasn't travel enough. My sister's looking for a chair, so I've been hitting up home goods stores trying to find a damn chair.
what kind of chair?
Not like a barrel chair, like kind of plain looking gray thing. And there was one in Greensboro. Like, hey, can you find this? Well, 3 home goods stores later, no. And I appear to not be able to Google it. I can't use the item number on it. Like, this doesn't exist outside of her house now.
Huh. Because I've been looking at getting like a chair for downstairs with like a nice chase so I can just sit back, relax, have a drink, and eventually fix the wiring inside the speakers on my turntable and get some vinyl. Just listen to music and just sit there and chill out. But I haven't found a chair I like yet, but it's not really high up on my list of things to do. I'm out of beer, though.
You too.
What's next?
Sierra Vienna. Pumpkintoberfest. What you feeling?
Last episode, we did the Nitro Milkshake and we did the Habanero Pumpkin, but we have a Southern Tier Pumpkin, and then we have that stuff you brought from last time in that Independence Harbor 6-pack doohickey. I don't remember what you brought because.
Which wasn't Independence Harbor. Sorry, Aldi.
But what was in there? Randoms. 2 randoms.
Usually are
2 random. I'll grab 2 randoms out of there. How's that sound?
deal.
Oh, my ears are hot.
Bet your ass they're hot. What?
What? Go black. That episode of Family Guy?
Yep. Speaking of penny scars,
I don't remember what we had last time. Kill switch.
I think there was like one of each
Syrup.
different. Yeah. Do the Vermont beers. The one's in your right hand right now.
All right.
Because that was from the Magic Hat mix pack. That was 16 for 15. Hooray.
You say 16 for 15?
$16 for 15 beers, courtesy of the Idlewild Food Dog, which is also where I picked up my $3.80 steaks. One of the packs turned out really good. The other one turned out just kind of tough because it was frozen and then later cooked, and I was marinating it while thawing it out.
Mm.
And I think it was just too much liquid, so the steak stayed very soft when cooking. Unfortunately, wound up becoming overdone in the process.
Evidently.
So just everything became very chewy after that.
There are some expensive cuts of steak that they say are better if you freeze them because it seals in all the flavor, and then you really cook it on high heat very quickly, and then serve it, and it's supposed to be really good. But all right, in the tradition, let's peek it out. 1, 2, 3. Even though I'll compress all that, and it won't matter.
It's good now.
What's funny is my voice. I've been louder the entire time, but then your can was louder. Steve has a louder can than me.
Means I win.
Steve, what are you drinking?
Magic Hat TFG India Pale Ale.
I like their peanut butter.
We chipped away layer after layer to reveal this rock solid IPA. Crisp with a smooth malt backing, TFG is a juicy IPA with hot notes of grapefruit, orange, peach, and cherry that will mine your every taste bud.
Cool.
No explanation of the name. Unless it's thank fucking Stig.
I have a Magic Hat Chill Switch Wheat IPA. Somewhere on the control board of your mind lies the chill switch. With the blink of an eye and the crack of a beer, it's engaged. The earbuds go in, the feet go up, and the chill sets in. Chill Switch is an incredibly smooth IPA with an upfront grapefruit hop aroma and a subtly sweet malt backbone. Magic Hat Brewing Company, South Burlington, Vermont. MagicHat.net. Void where prohibited by law.
Terms and conditions apply. Offer only valid for first 48 months before interest rates rise. Please visit your local Lexus dealer today.
That's actually good. It's not what I expected because I've never had a wheat IPA before.
I was happy with everything in that box.
It's good. 6.4%, this one.
All right.
Which means we can't drink it in Utah.
Good.
Salt Lake City, I've heard it's pretty.
This one's, I think that's a 6.6.
No shit.
It's bigger.
And we're going to do the tradition of going to the Mexican joint and avoiding the creepy...
Dunwelsers.
What?
Just the Dun-Illers.
Oh, yeah. And I was going to say the creepy waiter at the Mexican joint.
Also that.
But Vegas is so awesome. I want to go back immediately.
Yesterday.
I want to go back. It was so much fun. And if you've never traveled anywhere by yourself, then I would absolutely implore you to do so. It was just like a complete adventure. Because usually I have Emily with me. And, you know, we always have to compromise on where to go. You know, we'll go here today, here tomorrow, blah, blah. When you're by yourself, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. And parts of that can be scary. You get offered blow from a strange gentleman sitting in a slot machine at 10 o'clock in the morning. and you get propositioned for sex on your way back from your hotel a couple times. But it is very fun to travel by yourself. Now, where was the furthest place you've been by yourself?
Vegas, I flew solo to meet up with the group. And then when I went to Columbus for Nick's wedding, I drove solo to meet up with Brian about a day later. But I think
what car did you take, and
that
how
was
long did that take?
First Tacoma. At the time, I was at the beach for the first part of that week.
Lord.
So going from Ocean Isle Beach to Columbus, Ohio was 700 miles, and it took me 14 hours.
Oh, my God.
By the way, don't do that on your own in one day, solo, in a vehicle without cruise control.
The Jeep had cruise control, and I took it out.
What the fuck kind of weight savings is that?
Like,
all my favorite cars have had like non-working cruise control, if cruise control at all. Like 89 GTI, no. 97 Tacoma, no. Current Vibe doesn't work.
I had a bad rev hang problem in the Jeep for a little while. Like I would push the clutch in and it would hang, and a couple people said the cruise control would malfunction and the cable would pull. So I just took it out, and that didn't help. I'm like, well, I'm not going to fucking put it back in. I never used it anyway.
Yeah.
Because the cruise control in the Jeep would work, but if you set it, if you're going 75, it would fluctuate between like 72 and like 78. So I was like, I do that any fucking way. I might as well not even use it. So that's why I just like, I'm just going to go to, because it did work. It worked fine. It just didn't work good. It worked. Yeah, it worked fine, but it didn't work good.
I'd say it works, but not well.
Exactly. It was 97 cruise control, and not. Although I will say the air conditioning. Like people say, old cars don't have good air conditioning. Like it's got pretty good air conditioning in that thing. Like
That's usually one of the best attributes of American cars is a good AC,
especially the caddies. My grandmother had one. I don't remember what. It was brown, and I think it had a vinyl top on it. Unfortunately, but.
Ugh. And it was a Cimarron.
No, it wasn't a Cavalier. Those are my favorite kind of breakfast items, just Cimarron rolls.
Delicious. Cimarron Toast Crunch. It's my favorite breakfast cereal.
Have you ever had Chocolate Toast Crunch?
Or that being a thing.
You're going to have some. I got like 8 boxes downstairs. It's so fucking good. It's like limited time only. And Count Chocula, Boo Berry, Frankie Berry. It's all out now. Yummy Mummy. Oh, it's all out now, and it's so fucking good. They ought to make that shit year-round.
Is this you getting pumpkin spice latte excited?
Yep. For breakfast cereal?
For Universal Movie Monster cereal.
It's so fucking good. What's your favorite Monster cereal? I mean, they all taste the same. But Count Chocula tastes different because it tastes like chocolate, but Yummy Mummy,
Probably to hand it to one of my favorite Sesame Street characters. The Count.
7 bats. Remember the Dave Chappelle's bit about he's like, I used to hate when the kids, Oscar, why are you so grouchy? So, bitch, I live in a trash can. I didn't grow up watching much Sesame Street. I watched it, but it wasn't like the thing I watched as a kid. Like, what did you?
I have a vague recollection of it, but nothing stands out.
Okay, for some reason I watched a lot of Bob Ross,
but also with 2 younger siblings, I don't remember them watching a lot either.
Fair, and I had nieces and nephews, so they would come over and watch Barney, and then I would be forced to watch Barney.
I had neighbors that watched Barney, and I was like, yep, well, this is dumb. And then they quickly got into Power Rangers, and then, well, I'm surprised neither of them's murdered somebody yet.
Yeah, true. I grew up watching Power Rangers and Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Pee-wee's Playhouse, watch a bunch of that.
I did not. You're going to find out. I'm going to just go ahead. I want to see your reaction when I tell you this. But do you know who was a production assistant on Pee-wee's Playhouse?
Pay attention to the credits.
Rob Zombie.
Pardon? That's even crazier than Morpheus being Cowboy Curtis, man.
Exactly. I could not believe that.
Wait,
it was
what
on...
was the actual Robert Zombie in 1985 making the show?
I doubt that very seriously. But no, he was a production assistant, so he was on.
Thing
set.
is, like, if he's not on camera, how am I gonna remember him?
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't, and he wouldn't. I probably wouldn't even be in the credits. But
Yeah.
but it's funny to hear him refer to Lawrence Fishburne as Larry, because that's kind of what he. Well, yeah,
Good, he should be Larry because he spells Lawrence with a U, and that is incorrect.
coming from a Lawrence,
With the
you're correct.
W,
You're
like an adult.
Well, your Steve is actually spelled correctly also.
Stiffy. Correction, my Steven is spelled correctly.
With a PH. Yes.
Yes. Step in or step off.
You could just do the Stephen thing, like Stephen Curry.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that either. I don't like Stephen Curry.
It's seasoning, though.
Ooh.
Friday night we made curry crescent roll dogs.
That sounds amazing.
Yes, they are.
I need to make you those pizzadillas I made one night. Those were good. And pizza tacos sound good, too. So you just take the taco, stuff it with a bunch of cheese, Italian sausage.
Calzone?
No, calzone is dough. These are tortillas.
Okay.
Yes. Everybody always says that when I mention that.
Just think fold over taco. It's like, well, it's effectively soft taco.
And, well, a calzone is a very soft taco.
Not the way I heat them up. This shit became turtle shell last I cooked one.
Taco Bell has that toasted cheddar
I think I
chalupa.
think his tooth looked at after that one, actually.
Yikes. The toasted cheddar chalupa is now one of the top 3 favorite things I've ever had at Taco Bell. They bake... Did I tell you about this?
Yeah.
Oh, my... Listeners, they bake cheddar into... They toast cheddar into the chalupa shell. In the chalupa. It's fucking life-changing. It's giving me wood right now. But I'm also getting kind of hungry, too. So.
I'm going to say your arteries aren't the only thing getting hard at the thought of this.
I would... I'm probably going to have a physical this year, and I'm not really looking forward to it. They might tell me something I don't want to hear. My liver enzymes were normal, though, 2 years ago. Might not be so normal right now.
Well, outside of gigs and Mondays, how much are you drinking?
Every day.
Okay.
That answer your question. But I never wake up with a hangover, and I don't wake up and go, I can't wait to drink. I just wake up and I go to work. So if I start waking up and I start itching for like some booze, then I'm probably going to cut back. But until then, I'm just going to keep on keeping on, man. Just like Joe Dirt. I believe that was a Joe Dirt thing. You've seen that, haven't you?
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen that. Like,
Something about Christopher Walken threatening to cut you up with a utility knife.
or a soldering iron.
Yeah, I got stabbed you in the face with a soldering iron.
I wonder what Christopher Walken is doing right now.
How old is he? Because it'd be 4 o'clock in California, and then there'd be early bird special time.
Okay, Google. How old is Christopher Walken?
Walken is 70.
Whoa!
What the fuck?
6 years short.
Hey, he looks pretty much the same. Kind of like, Good
Look,
Lord.
punch in Max Zorin on your Google box. MAXZORIN.
Robert De Niro's 76.
He was just in the bottom rows too.
Yeah. You said Max Zorin?
Yeah.
All right. Fictional character from 1985, James Bond of you. Oh yeah, that's right. He was the.
So
Bond
then
villain.
you have him at 42.
Jesus Christ. Who was the Bond then?
That was
Dalton?
No, that was Moore's last one, and he looks every bit of 58. Which is
Oh.
funny because the first one he was in, he was 46, but still looked really young.
Yeah.
But once the 70s gave way to the 80s, the age ray kicked in.
Eek. Emily's going to be furious, but I might book me another trip before the year's over. went to Vegas. I might book it through Christmas, so I don't have to go spend that. All right, you know how much I love Emily. I do love her family. I like spending time with her family, but
yeah,
like,
but
all right, so I actually took off last year. I worked Christmas Eve. I came up Christmas Eve evening, and I stayed Christmas Day. Usually I work the day after Christmas, but I took that day off. I will never do that again. I was at her grandmother's house from 9 in the morning till 10:30 at night. And if for those of you who do not know me, I can't stay. I'll go to sleep. If I stay in one place, I have to go to sleep. You can't sleep when there's that many fucking people there. So I had to stay in one place and not leave. I brought a whole bottle of Crown Royal vanilla with me, and I finished the whole fucking bottle that day. Well, if I gotta be here all day, I didn't drive, so
I'm gonna drink this till you're entertaining.
I started at 11 o'clock, and I kicked that bottle that evening at like right before we left. But there's just so much going on, and they're always doing something. Like this is too much. This is overstimulating. I wonder how mad they'd be.
Just don't go.
I know Emily would be sad that I wasn't there with her, but her mom would be mad that I wasn't spending time with family. Because they're just very family oriented, and I just don't like staying in one place that long. But and the thing too is because the holiday season's upon us again, like there's so many of them that like they say, oh, we're gonna have dinner at this time and open presents at this time, but everybody else has in-laws and stuff to visit. So by the time everybody gets together, it's so fucking late, and we've been waiting to eat, and everybody's fucking starving. But we're waiting on the last person to get there that's not going to care if we start eating without them.
Dibs on the turkey legs.
I mean, I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot to do. There's somewhere in the middle of what I grew up with and what she grew up with is probably normal. Whereas her dad has line items in their budget for tires. He has a little bit of money come out of their checking account every week that goes to a separate account for tires.
Well, seeing as they got 3 cars seeing no use now.
Yeah. But that's the level of
meticulousness.
Yes. That goes into like and as a math guy I do appreciate that, but as growing up with my parents who were only vaguely aware that there was a mortgage.
Well, we didn't get kicked out. What do you want?
Exactly. Like somewhere in between those two extremes is probably the norm. But your parents are pretty good with money, aren't they?
A lot better than I am. Dad sold his Highland Creek house after living there just shy of 10 years for a $70,000 profit.
Okay.
Yeah. So what you're saying is I should have also bought a house back in 2009. Never mind, I had no money then and even less now.
Well, dude,
that could fix everything. Instead, it's like
I bought a house in 2010 and I didn't have that much money. And this is funny to me now, like looking back at it. The housing crisis, they were lending money to people who had no business getting loans. And I know that's their fault too for getting it, but it's also the lender's fault too for doing that too. But I digress. I would probably not have lended me the money to buy my first house, even though it wasn't even that much money, like compared to a house. But it shows you just how, like, I was like, how fiscally irresponsible were some people to apply for these loans, and how irresponsible were some of these banks to actually give them both.
Especially that second part.
Jesus Christ, man.
Don't call them predatory loans for nothing.
Well, in 2010, I had been at Food Line for 8 years, so I had,
that job history.
I had job history. I was buying a foreclosed house, and I got down payment assistance. So they gave me $15,000 of down payment assistance for free. They said, this is free money. You do not have to pay this back if you stay in this house for 5 years. So I stayed in it 5 years and 2 weeks, and we sold it. And it took 2 days. And here's a fun story.
And I was there for 4 of them.
You were. And our late Levi friend was there for a year of it. So 2 of my friends, Jessica and Justin, they live in Concord. They just put their house up on the market. They're under contract. They had 8 showings. They were packing, and then a couple just randomly walks in and goes, "Ooh, I like this." And then they were like, "Who's there?" "Oh, we didn't know anybody was home." Like, "Yeah, we're home. We still live here." And they were like, "Oh, we thought it was like an open house or something, so we just came in." They were like, "Get the fuck out of the house!" Why did you think there was an open house? Like, some random couple just drives up to their house, parks.
Was it Saturday morning, Sunday morning? Anything like
it
a
was
normal
like
open
a
house time?
Friday afternoon. And this a couple, I think in their 40s, from what I gathered from talking to him about
Someone you think would know better.
Somebody should know better. Oh, well, it was for sale.
I don't feel like
the
getting
door
house
was
shot
unlocked.
today.
I'm sorry. What?
No.
No, just because the door is unlocked.
No.
Yeah. Jesus fucking Christ.
In sillier news, those new headphones I got for use at work, send them back.
What'd they do?
They're not loud enough to get over the rickety fucking equipment at work.
Do you want to take those with you?
No.
You sure?
These aren't wireless.
Oh. Fair.
Idea being, no, what I want were Bluetooth noise-canceling headphones that can at least be as loud as the ones I already have, but, not feel like my head's in a vice or have the battery die after 4 hours.
That's fair. Well,
I really like those, except the controls are wonky and I can't get this thing loud enough. So I wrote Woot, the subsidiary of Amazon from which I bought them. It's like, these are really nice, except they're not loud enough. And I have an older, cheaper pair that are loud enough. I really enjoyed those, except the battery is garbage after 2 years hard labor. And there doesn't appear to be an easy way to swap that battery. It's like, well, that same company makes newer models, so probably just go that route using free Amazon money. Yes. Also, this morning, took money to Coinstar. And the Coinstars that give you Amazon gift cards are few and further between now. But the Lowe's Foods in Harrisburg has one such machine. So I just took every last bit of change in my car to Coinstar it. It only came up to $5, but hey, that's the minimum to do so. I was like, all right, get my Amazon money. We're sorry, this machine's experiencing malfunction, but we'll print you a receipt for $0. Sorry, what? So it prints it out. No, it's still good for the $5.07, but I could take it to the counter at no fee. Otherwise, to turn that change into cash incurs an 11.9% ransom now.
Yikes.
So, through my usual vagary, posted on FaceBase, hey guys, if you decide you want free Coinstar, today's your day.
Let me know next time you do a change run, because Fifth Third has a free Coinstar for members.
Nice.
So, if you need free money...
Thanks, but I think right now I could count out $11.19. Or no, $1.19? Whatever the most change you could have and not be able to make change for $1 is $1.19.
Nice.
Not $11.18.
I have a...
Hey, this beer's working.
I have a fishbowl like that big. In my side of the side table. And surprisingly, when the fishbowl this big, full of all of your coin denominations minus Susan B. Anthony, Sacagawea, and 50-cent pieces, when that's full, it's like $180, which is hilarious.
Meanwhile, the fish hates it.
It's a bit hard to swim. But did I tell you the penny story?
You and what loafers?
Nice. When I was 8, I collected pennies. All right, so do you remember going to the convenience stores in the country that had the pickle jars this big, or pickled pig feet, whatever? So I had 3 of these, and I just liked the design of the jar. So I filled one entirely with pennies, all the way with pennies. Then I filled the next one entirely with pennies, and then I filled the other one like a quarter of the way with pennies. And I had a particular hardship when I was, I think it was right after me and May broke up in 2007. And I was like, I'm going to cash all these pennies in. They're not doing anything. So I called my mom. I was like, I'm coming to pick the pennies up. Well, I don't know if you ever picked up a giant pickle jar full of pennies, but it's really fucking heavy. So me and my dad carried them and then put them in the Maxima at the time, which made the Maxima ride like a fucking lowrider. And I had to get the cop at the bank to help me pick the pennies up and carry them in to the Coinstar, which they had to change the bags in like 7 times because I kept filling it with pennies. So in case you ever wondered what 2 full pickle jars that are 1.5 feet tall and a quarter of another one in pennies is, it's only $250.
For my high school graduation, my uncle in Nashville gave me a jar full of change. This is a glass, probably half-gallon apple cider jar that was full of change of whatever sorts, amounting to $190 and a pair of nail clippers and 3 paper clips. Just whatever was in pocket, I'm sure.
Have you, weren't you the person, didn't your aunt or somebody give you, like, every birthday, like, if you turned 31, they gave you 31 pennies, 31 nickels, 31
No.
Somebody I know, for every birthday, they got whatever they turned, and they got in each denomination of coin, and that actually starts to add up as you get a little bit older. And I couldn't remember if it was you. I know
Hello, Billy. You're 50 years old, and this is getting really expensive.
Imagine going to the bank. I need 50 quarters, 50 dimes. This is just so annoying, like, to do once a year. I couldn't remember who did that. It wasn't you. It wasn't Thomas. It wasn't Toby.
You're listening to this. Please chime into the show.
I'm getting kind of hungry. What about you?
Right back at changeplease@gmail.com.
2 weeks from now?
Ostensibly.
2 weeks from now will be October the 1st. I don't know if that has any meaning to anybody
It's
out
the
there.
opposite of Halloween in October. I don't know what's going on here.
I'm not dressing up. Although, in October, Halloween's on a Thursday. How fucking lame is that? I got to go to Raleigh for her dad's birthday on October the 5th, which is a Saturday. Ugh.
Better make it fun, Ken. You're taking up valuable showtime.
He's 70. Well, I have a show that Friday in, what's the name of that fucking mountain town? It's Laconia Ale Works. Sparta. Yeah, it's in Sparta.
That's madness.
So I got to drive up to Sparta and then back. And then that
This
next
is just
morning,
like the last time you played there, that you had to go there, then back home, then to Raleigh, then the beach, and then to Asheville, and then self-immolate, whatever.
337,000 miles in the XJ. I love that thing.
Darn, I'm crossing over 260 today. I think it's 5 short.
I got to do I change the oil on the 5s and I rotate the tires on the 10s, which I think is the correct way. And I haven't changed the oil on the S2000 in a year, and I haven't changed the oil or filter in 2 years, but it hasn't even.
As soon as it gets due.
I'll do the filter.
Trouble is that the time is because the oil collects moisture over time, like
Correct.
running it or not. It just is gross.
The filter, though, I didn't change last year because.
Your lack of use.
Exactly.
What'd you do? Put 700 miles on it?
714 miles.
That's my driving in 2 weeks.
But I drive the Jeep plenty. Like, I do drive the Jeep plenty. I don't have the balls to DD my S2K like Brian DD's the Supra. So until then,
that's currently a car in production. So I was like, what's the worst that's going to happen? This gets fucked up. All right. Well, it got totaled. Get a new one. Because that exists.
That it does. Well, for episode 42, Steve and I are going to go eat some Mexican food. So I'm AJ.
I'm still Steve.
Steve's yawning, so that
Thanks for enjoying the Bars and Guitars podcast. Till next round, cats, kittens.
All right. I'll see you soon, Steve. That's it.
Bye.
Later.
Toodles. Hasta Luigi.
Yep.
Click.
Or prefect.